Hi, everyone. It's Kristen Williams with the Williams team in Austin, Texas. A happy March the 10th, and we are almost 3 years from the COVID becoming a big thing in our world. And I know that because our baby was born on March 13th, Friday the 13th, the day that we went into lockdown as a country or as a world, really. And I've been reflecting on what a wild ride that has been. From a housing perspective, all but stopped. The entire economy stopped, right? If you look at graphs of like what happened with, spending and everything, right? Everything all but stopped. And then about 6 weeks later, we were like shooting right back up, spending, you had the stimulus. So we've had such a wild ride. And then said this to another client, we were on this wave up until all of a sudden we weren't, which was the middle of April of 2022, when inflation was just out of control and the Fed decided to start raising interest rates. So the Fed's biggest way to get a hold on inflation is to tinker with interest rates, which impacts my industry, the housing industry, quite a bit, and it impacts 70 or 65% of people who are homeowners. Not all 65% of those homeowners are in the market to buy or sell right now, but nevertheless, we're all impacted by that, right? So a lot of people ask, well, where are we going to go? Where are we headed? Like, what's happening? And gosh, if I had a crystal ball, I certainly would love that. And I don't, but I do read and study a lot on what's happening. So the Fed, had another meeting recently in their recent report. Inflation is not going down and subsiding as they would have liked. And so they're continuing to raise interest rates. So we did have another interest rate increase this week. We're in the 7% range. And so those rates have just kind of steadily climbed. That's slowing things down in the market, which is what the Fed really wants. They want people to not be spending money, not to be buying houses. They're trying to get people to not do that. But yet in Austin, we're still seeing signs that there's activity. We are seeing price drops, which is something that every market is really seeing. So we're seeing price reductions, and really, I think the market is going to change. And people say, "Oh, we're going to see prices come down a whole lot more." We've already in Austin, Texas, seen prices come down so substantially. From this point last year, we've had about like a 12, 15 or so percent, and 20% in some cases, depending on which part of town you're in, drop in prices. I've got a listing right now, for instance, that I am there were homes that would have sold in that 1.5 range, and it's now in the high 1.2 range. So that's a pretty substantial difference from what sales comps would have supported the sale of this home last year. But we've also seen a very good, healthy, but also very high amount of appreciation. I'll give you an example. I've got some sweet clients who I love dearly. They closed on a house on the day that our baby was born, March 13th, 2020. And I remember messaging with them in the hospital when they closed on their new house. And I don't think anybody knew how crazy COVID was going to be at that time. But now they're outgrowing that house and they're ready to sell. They bought that house in the mid $500,000 range, brand new construction. And then now comps are supporting us selling this house in the mid 900 range. Comps a year ago would have supported us selling it over $1 million in the like $1 to $1.1 million range. So where we're pricing it is in line with how prices have fallen. Yet that's still substantial appreciation over the last couple of years, right? So the point is that most people in this country, especially in the Austin area, have seen enough appreciation where they're not in a negative equity position. They're not underwater. And so people think, oh, we're going to have, housing, we're going to have a lot of foreclosures, and we're really not, because we don't have a lot of people with negative equity. So if you don't have negative equity and you are motivated to sell, you can still sell the house. It may not be at the price you were hoping for. And that's kind of a tough pill to swallow for a lot of people who are wanting to sell their home. Maybe they aren't able to sell it for what they wanted to last year if we'd had this conversation, yet they're still able to sell and not be in a negative equity position and not write checks, which back in 2010, 2011, that's when I had people writing checks. There were many times where I had someone bring a $12,000 check or a $30,000 check or a $80,000 check to sell their home because they really wanted to sell their home. Now, I also counseled most people at that time not to sell your home and just wait it out. And a lot of people did wait it out, and they were really thankful for that advice. And that's kind of my advice right now too, is only sell and only move if it's really right for your lifestyle, your family. There's a lot of people that it's right for their family, or like this sweet couple that they have outgrown their house and they're ready for something larger. So it's right for their family, and they're still realizing a really good gain on their sale, just not as good as it would have been maybe last year. But the flip side, the house they're buying is a better price for them now than it would have been last year. Yes, the interest rate's higher, and at some point interest rates will come down and they'll be able to refinance the home. So that's kind of a nuanced perspective on kind of where we've kind of been in my reflection over the last 3 years, because we're coming up on that anniversary. So I know this is a longer one. And so if you have any questions, and thank you for sticking with me if you stuck this far, y'all have a wonderful weekend. I will report back to you next week on March 17th. Happy St. Patrick's Day to come. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me and our team, and we are always here to support, serve, counsel, give strategy advice. That's just what we love to do. So have a wonderful Friday and a wonderful weekend ahead. Bye.